What is the best way to debug deeply nested JavaScript DOM? Imagine trying to find a tiny pin in a giant stack of hay. That's what debugging deeply nested JavaScript DOM structures can feel like. But don't worry, there are clear ways to make this easier. First, use your browser's developer tools. Modern browsers like Chrome, Firefox, and Edge have powerful tools to help you see the DOM tree visually. Open the Elements or Inspector panel and you can see all the nested elements. You can click to expand or collapse nodes, making it easier to understand the hierarchy. If you want to find a specific element, use the search feature by typing in the tag name, class, or ID. This helps you jump right to the part of the DOM you're interested in. You can also click an element and choose options like Break On to pause JavaScript execution when that element changes. This is super helpful if your code modifies the DOM dynamically. Next, in the console, you can navigate the DOM with JavaScript commands. Use Document Query Selector or Query Selector All with CSS selectors to target specific nested elements. For example, if you want to find a nested list inside a div with a certain class, you can write Document Query Selector my class ul. To move around the DOM tree, properties like children, parent node, next sibling, and first child are your friends. They let you step through the hierarchy one node at a time. Logging these elements or their properties helps you see what's happening at each step. When dealing with very deep or complex structures, writing recursive functions can be a game changer. These functions visit each node in turn, allowing you to log or modify elements at every level. For example, a recursive function can traverse a nested menu or list, printing out each item's details or making changes as needed. This makes debugging much more manageable. Using modern JavaScript features like optional chaining is also very helpful. If you try to access a deeply nested property or element that might not exist, optional chaining prevents errors from stopping your script. Instead, it returns undefined if a node is missing, so you can handle it gracefully. This makes your debugging process smoother and less prone to crashes. Destructuring assignments can also simplify your code. When working with nested objects or DOM elements, destructuring makes it easier to pull out specific properties or children. It keeps your code clean and easier to follow, which is important when troubleshooting. Finally, don't forget the debugger statement. Insert a debugger line in your JavaScript code where you want to pause execution. When the browser hits this line, it stops and lets you inspect the current DOM state, variables, and call stack. You can then step through your code line by line, watching how the DOM changes and understanding what's going wrong. To sum up, start by visually inspecting the DOM with your browser's tools. Use programmatic navigation with query selector and DOM properties. Write recursive functions for complex structures. Use optional chaining to avoid errors. And take advantage of debugger statements to pause and examine your code. Combining these methods will help you tame even the most deeply nested JavaScript DOM trees and get your web pages working just right.